Everyone's calling it the SaaS Apocalypse, $1 trillion wiped from software stocks, per-seat pricing dying, enterprise incumbents and freefall. But here's what nobody's talking about. If you're a bootstrap founder, this isn't an apocalypse. This is a renaissance. The cost to build has collapsed. The tools are nearly free. The niches are wide open. And those giant companies that used to be your competition, well, they're too busy trying to survive to even notice you. This is the best time in the history of software to build a SaaS business with no investors, no team, and no permission. Let me show you why. If you don't know me, my name is Sean, and I've been building SaaS businesses for 15 years. But now I build in public and I help founders like you. I've been watching this narrative closely, and I want to show you what I'm seeing. The media is telling one story. SaaS is dying. Software stocks are crashing. AI agents are replacing software. And that story is somewhat true, but mostly for enterprise incumbents. For Salesforces and ServiceNows of the world, charging $150 a seat to 50,000 person companies. But there's a second story nobody's covering. While the giants are panicking, a new generation of solo founders is quietly building focused, profitable software businesses from their living rooms. The micro-SaaS segment is growing at 30% annually. Founders are routinely hitting $5,000 to $50,000 a month with teams of 1 to 3 people. And the median profitable micro-SaaS makes about $4,200 a month. This isn't an apocalypse, it's a transfer of power from bloated incumbents to lean bootstrappers, and that's a renaissance. 5 years ago, building a SaaS product required tens of thousands of dollars minimum. You needed developers, designers, infrastructures, and months of time. The barrier to entry was high, which meant only funded teams could really play the game. In 2026, you can go from idea to functional MVP for under $100 in 2 to 4 weeks. In fact, I've got a free email course, link in the description below, that tells you exactly how to do this. But basically, level build your landing page and prototype, Cursor and Claude Code write your application logic, Supabase can give you a free database, Vercel hosts it for free, Stripe handles payments. Most founders in 2026 report spending well under $1,000 before earning their first dollar of revenue. This isn't a marginal improvement. This is 100 times reduction in the cost and time of starting a software business. The barrier to entry hasn't been lowered. It's been effectively eliminated, which means the only thing standing between you and a launch product is the decision to start. It's not just that building is cheaper, it's that you as a single person can now do the work that used to require an entire team. Need a coder? Cursor or Claude Code. Need a designer? Lovable, V0 or Magic Patterns. Need a marketer? Claude writes your copy, SEO, AEO, content, and email sequences. Need customer support? You could use something like Intercom's Fin to handle it. Need analytics? PostHog, free tier. Need operations? Zapier and N8N can automate pretty much everything. The share of solo-founded bootstrap startups climbed from 22% in 2015 to 38% in 2024, and that trend is accelerating. It's not because solo founders are working harder, it's because AI has given them leverage that didn't exist 2 years ago. I'm building Clockless in public as a solo founder. I don't have a co-founder. I don't have employees, but I have AI tools that let me ship features, write content, manage a community, and produce this YouTube channel, all in the same week. That's not just hustle, it's leverage. Here's where the Renaissance thesis really shines. The enterprise SaaS companies spent the last 20 years building horizontal platforms, CRMs, project management, analytics tools that try to serve everyone. And because those were so expensive to build, nobody could really afford to compete in narrow verticals. And that equation has since flipped. Vertical SaaS is growing at 24% annually, nearly double the broader market, and the niches are everywhere. Legal billing, veterinary practice management, craft brewery operations, solar installation workflow, wedding planner coordination, you name it. These are real markets with real pain and real willingness to pay, and the incumbents are just too big and too slow to serve them well. When I looked at the legal billing space for Clockless, I found that competitors had raised almost $1 billion, but their pricing is typically designed for large firms. Small firms with 5 to 10 attorneys were underserved. And that's not a small gap. That's an entire market segment that the incumbents can't afford to focus on. The riches are in the niches, and right now, most of those niches are underserved and free for the taking. This is the diversion that creates your opportunity. Right now, every enterprise SaaS company is in crisis mode. Salesforce has dropped 38% since the beginning of the year. Adobe has hit multi-year lows. The entire iShares software ETF is down 30% from its peak. These companies aren't thinking about how to better serve a 10-person law firm. They're scrambling to figure out agentic licensing models, outcome-based pricing, AI feature parity, and how to convince Wall Street they're not obsolete. They're fighting for survival at the top, while the bottom of the market, your market, is completely unattended. This is your window. While they're rewriting their business models, you're building a product. While they're in board meetings debating pricing strategy, you're shipping features. While they're laying off thousands of employees, you're a team of one with no overhead and, even better, no politics. Every major industry disruption creates this kind of window. Cloud computing created it in the 2000s, mobile created it in 2010, and AI is creating it now. The founders who move during this window, not after it closes, are the ones who have a real shot at building wildly successful businesses. And finally, the SaaS business model itself is perfectly designed for bootstrap founders. Let me walk you through the math. SaaS companies operate at 70 to 85% gross margins. That means for every dollar you earn, 70 to 85 cents is profit after hosting costs. You probably can't even think of another business model with those kind of margins. Revenue is predictable and recurring. Once someone subscribes, they pay every month. You're not hunting for the next sale. You're compounding the ones you already have. The marginal cost of serving an additional customer is close to zero. Serving your 1,000th customer costs almost nothing more than serving your 100th. And that's the kind of scaling that physical businesses can only dream about. Bootstrap SaaS companies with clean financials and strong retention are premium acquisition targets. The multiples in this market right now are extraordinary. AI native startups command nearly 30 times revenue valuations versus 7 times for traditional SaaS. That means the micro-SaaS doing $100,000 a year could be valued anywhere from $700,000 to $3 million, depending on growth and AI integration. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need a board. You don't need $1 billion market. You need 100 customers paying $99 a month. That's 10K MRR. Reaching that level of success with your SaaS could change your life. I want to leave you with some historical context. Every major shift in technology has created a golden window for small operators. The cloud shift in the 2000s created MailChimp, Basecamp, and hundreds of other bootstrap SaaS companies that are still running profitably today. The mobile shift created entire categories of apps built by solo developers. Each wave had a window, usually 2 to 3 years, where the new tools were available but the competition hadn't caught up yet. We're in that window right now with AI. The tools are mature enough to build production software, but new enough that the landscape isn't crowded. The incumbents are distracted, the niches are unclaimed, and the cost is nearly zero. This window will not stay open forever. As more people catch on, the niches will fill up and the tools will become more commoditized, and then the advantage will narrow. The founders who start now, not next quarter, not next year, are the ones who will own the verticals. So call it what you want, the SaaS Apocalypse, the SaaS Apocalypse, the Great Reset. I call it the SaaS Renaissance. And if you're a bootstrapper, you're living in the best moment in history of software, so don't waste it. If you're ready to start, I've put together a free 5-day email course that walks you through validating, building, and launching your first SaaS product. No investors, no code experience needed. Link is in the description below. I'm Sean, this is Bootstrapper's Paradise. Welcome to the Renaissance, and I'll see you in the next one.